All right, we're here with Aaron Hadlow, who's going to tell us all the changes and all the new product on kites this year for North.
Yep.
So let's start with, how about the Rebel?
Yeah, with the Rebel. Well, the Rebel's had a few changes actually, because it's one of the best-selling big jumping kites. It goes massive, and especially this year. I've even used it a couple of times during the racing, so it's also a quick kite when I was in Germany, so that was good. Basically, it's changed the aspect ratio in some of the sizes. So the smaller sizes have got a bigger aspect ratio. It's a bit easier handling. That's the 6 and the 8, and then the 9 and 11 has actually stayed the same because that was kind of the nice spot for that kite. Moving on, the 12 and 13, a bit more of a higher aspect actually, a bit quicker turning as well, and helping again with the boosting. And a lot of the guys are using these sizes, the 12 and 13, for going big. Really a lot of hang time.
How does it loop?
Well, for looping, I don't know. I haven't tried that.
Really, you haven't tried?
No, I'll keep that. I'll take the Vegas for the loops, I think. But then, yeah, on the big end kites, on the 14, the 16, then again higher aspect and big floaty kites. So yeah, it's moving on good. They're very popular, and we just try to improve it every year.
Yeah, I think the Rebel was the very first kite that I ever rode, and the first time I took a jump, I felt like I was in the air forever, and it's always been a staple, hasn't it, for North, I think?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of their longest standing kites for sure, and it's good to keep that and try to improve on it where you can.
Cool.
Yeah, so the dice this year has also been improved. We've gone for it's another kind of all-round but higher performance all-round kite to do all sorts of things. So one key thing is kind of doing all the freestyle and also taking it in the waves and being a really versatile kite. So we wanted to improve the low end on the dice actually. It was a really good kite in strong winds, and then some people struggled, or the heavier riders struggled a little bit on the low end. So that was something that we wanted to bring into that kite to again open up the range of the kite and the wind range. So we've done that, and we've done that with a little bit draft back profile. It gives it a little bit more grunt. And then also a bit more structural stiffness to give it a bit better turning. Swept the wingtips back a little bit to help in the wingtip area. And in the wingtip is where all the turning happens, so this is a very important part of that kite. So dice has been improved, and yeah, along with all the small improvements across the whole range as well, with the new one-pump system, and we've got some new patches that cover up over the leading edge and over each strut.
What does it change in the one-pump system? I mean, it's always been standard, no? So what's different?
Yeah, we tried to make a system that would be easier to deflate and inflate, basically. And before, we've always had have it kind of bend in the little tube that comes around. Now it goes straight from the strut straight down into the leading edge. So now when you're wrapping up, it never kinks, it never really gets in the way, and you can just roll it up, deflate easy, inflate's the same, so that's good. And then yeah, we've reinforced the kites around this area on the strut, especially on the leading edge at the front there, some patches, and that gives it a bit more structural stiffness. And that's throughout all the kites, so that's something that's really made the kites a bit more solid this year.
Hey, there seems to be a lot of buzz about the Neo this year, so what can you tell us about that?
Well, the Neo is like one of the best wave riding kites out there for sure. I mean, for me, I grabbed it last year for the first time when I went to Cape Town just to give it a go. And I don't do waves that much, but it was something I wanted to try out, and in Cape Town we get some good stuff. So
I know, it was amazing this year.
Exactly, it was worth giving it a go. And I was really impressed by the feeling actually, because it is a bridled kite, and sometimes you lose a bit of feeling, it's not so direct. But yeah, being used to the Vegas, you have that really hard direct feeling, and that Neo was one of the closest kites in the North Range to that, I think. So that's really good. And then this year, obviously, it was in the past it was a very grunty kite. I think a lot of people like taking a slightly smaller kite for the speed, but it lacked a bit of D-power, so they wanted to keep the low end, but they'd give it a bit more D-power as well, so it's a bit more range. So we've done that with a thinner profile and a bit more draft back, something we also learned in the Vegas. So the kites are kind of interlinked, they bring some bits from each different kite that we learn along the way. So that, and some thinner struts on the tip, giving it a bit more of a direct feel, a bit more easier turning. So we're just trying to improve in the smaller details, and giving it a bigger range for the wave riders.
Cool.
So the Evo's also been a little bit redesigned as well, and that's one of our other freeride kites like the Rebel, but it's a 4-line version. So Also good for boosting, just cruising, really user-friendly. And I think we're trying to push it down that way a little bit more. So it's gone a little bit more delta, which gives it easier relaunch. We tried to give it a little bit lighter bar pressure so that there's some different brands out there that have a different feeling in the kite. So we try to open up our range to so there's something for everyone kind of thing. And that's one of the main things for the Rebel. So yeah, just making it more user-friendly, lighter bar pressure. It'll give it a bit more speed with the delta and the turning and the way it goes. So that's going to be a nice kite, and still, keeping the big boosts and the user friendliness.
And how's the relaunch on the Evo?
Yeah, so the relaunch is going to be improved because of that, and that's just pull one line, flips up, and up it comes.
So is that then going to be your kite kind of for like schools and stuff and new people, or is it just an all-around one?
It's an all-round kite. I think there's something else coming in the pipeline that might be more towards the schools. So
can you tell us?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed yet.
All right, and now we'll move on to your favorite kite, the Vegas.
Yeah, so we got the Vegas this year, which is keep that but bring over another option for us wake stars, for us team riders, and give it a bit more of a core image, I guess. And that's what happened then, 2015, and now for 2016 we've changed the profile a little bit. Like I said before, a little bit thinner and draft back, and that's improved our pop and our boost. So it was always a Hadlow setup with the low D power, so a setup.
So you
for
think
everyone.
you might be able to win King of the Air again next year?
Well, I got the kite for everything I love to do, so it's perfect.
That's awesome. Good. Well, it's a really nice color range that they have this year too. Hey?
Yeah.
It seems like the red is going to be a really popular one for this season.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a big change in the design. And did you actually have a hand in that at all, or?
I think they've been going down that direction for a while, and all the range this year looks really in line. It's perfect. There's a real true theme to everything, which is very nice. So I'm so happy with how my personal one came out as well. The Hadlow edition in the blue, it's super nice colours, and just all the graphics together has come out really good. So I get to have a little bit of input, especially on my personal one. They pre-select their colours and they think what's going to work for the future, get the boards in line, and everything's all good. I look at all the kites in the range this year and I'm really happy.
Yeah, everything seems, all the surfboards and the kites and the twin tips, they all have a really nice kind of uniform look to them this year.
Yeah.
North, I think North's done a really good job.
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
key,
it's quite exciting.
You look at the stuff and you know it's North, and that's what's good about it, because you give everything a very nice image, and you look at any one part of the product and you say, okay, I know what that belongs to, and that's what's good about it.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate your time and explaining the range to us. We look forward to the new season.
Yeah,
All
can't
right.
wait.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Aaron.
thanks.